Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Indigo here. I hope you're having a good day or a good night, whatever time it is when you watch this video. Okay, let's get into a message for the collective. I just woke up like 2 hours ago, or maybe even three. I like how it looks green like that. I think that looks cool. My phone case has like this little sliding piece that covers up the camera or protects the camera when I'm like not using it, and the sun reflection hitting the back of it makes it appear to be like green, which is funny because green is associated with the heart chakra. And I also, now I'm thinking about it, it's funny that money is green because in order to manifest right in the upright, you need to utilize your heart chakra. And I think a lot of the times, collective, what I'm starting to realize is that a lot of us can sometimes be lost on the fact of why certain people operate in low vibrational energy and how they can obtain so much from operating in that low vibrational energy. And there are some people in this world who thrive off of, making others feel bad or making others feel worthless or just making other people not feel as great as them, right? And a lot of the time, people will use anything against you as a weapon, right? Like just yesterday, I was talking about judgment, like people judging, like your appearance, right? They could use that against you, right? To where somebody starts judging your appearance, and now you are feeling self conscious, and now that self conscious energy that you are exuding is transferring into this person that thrives off of that type of energy. Somebody feeling bad about themselves. Like when we think about uh was it Oscar the Grouch, the trash, he's in the trash. He eats trash, like he lives in trash. That is his comfortable space and environment, right? Um and that's not to say it's bad nor good. That's just what works for him, right? So it's like you have to be understanding of like what type of energy it is that you thrive off of. um I think I've noticed about myself that I don't thrive off of uh others feeling bad around me. Okay, I think my shadow enjoys when I trigger a negative response in someone that causes them to reflect on their own behavior, which leads them to a point of acknowledging why it is that they were acting the way that they were acting towards me to begin with. I thrive off of turning a negative into a positive, but I feel like it's important to understand that there are some people who aren't looking to turn negatives into positives. They are just consuming the negatives. Like even when we think about like uh like I don't know, like a debt collector or something, right? A debt collector is thriving off of collecting debt from other people, and the people who have the debt, they don't have it to give, so that's why they're not paying it, right? But the debt collector doesn't give a fuck. He's gonna take you for everything you got, right? Like he just came here to get what you owe him, right? And it's not that you're intentionally not paying him back, you just don't have anything to give him right now, right? And so it's like, or what you do have to give, right? You need it for to build upon. Um, and there are just so many instances in life where things can get completely just out of whack if you don't know your own stance in a situation, um, or just in life in general. I feel like right now I'm learning that I am triggering people into healing and facing their shadow parts, right? I'm triggering people into feeling emotions that maybe they've never felt before. And nobody has really had the power, the source of energy to make them feel that way. And as I enter into their lives, I'm triggering these things, and that shadow aspect will come out, right? So I think the message for the collective is just like to always be clear on like your intentions, right? When you are intentional with everything it is that you do, no one can ever take that away from you, right? And the only source of energy that knows your intention is the divine, right? We can even say that the devil knows your intention, right? So the devil will, or the adversary, whatever the fuck you want to refer to, the darker side of life, right? Anything in the spiritual can see what is unseen. Um, so your intentions are always known, and there will be different people who will play off of those intentions because to other people those intentions can be seen as a weakness. Like if you are someone who has went through the darkest periods of your life and never fought darkness with darkness, if you just fought darkness with light your whole entire life, then you understand what your intention is. It's to bring light. It's not to bring more darkness. Because the darkness is teaching you how to utilize your light in order to transmute and alchemize the energy. So it's like in those moments where you feel like something is triggering you or something is making you formulate a perception on yourself that you truly feel does not define your truest character, who it is that you are, not just in a human sense, but in a soul sense, and also in the sense of validating your intentions, that is when you can disconnect from the worry, the angst, or the anxiety of being misunderstood or being anything that isn't what you intended. And that's not to say that you don't acknowledge, someone's assessment of you or your behavior or your energy. Because as the student and the teacher, you're always looking for ways to critique or perfect what it is that you are offering to any table. So, with that in mind, right, understand that, all of us are on completely different journeys, all of us are on completely different paths. I find that being mindful of your words at this time is very important. But even in being mindful of your words, you can say the right thing, but your heart posture, your intention can still be not in a good place. Like imagine somebody saying like, "Oh, I'm sorry for your loss," right? Or "I'm sorry for your gain." Or "I'm happy that you got to lose something so that you could gain, this wisdom for you to move forward," right? Somebody could be saying that, but the whole time their heart posture could be in the energy of like, "I'm happy that this person had to go through this. I'm happy that they had to experience it." Like that's what the fuck they get, right? That's not a positive, right? And there's always a balance. But when you're on the healing journey, I've always found that acknowledging the darker parts, acknowledging the negatives is always essential to turning them into positive. Otherwise, you can never turn them into positive. And right now, I think I'm learning that throughout my whole entire life, I may have not always had the correct terminology or the correct understanding of something, right? But I've always been a person to take something that's given to me and turn it into my own thing and intentionally do that, right? Like, what can I use for an example? Or we could really talk about like slang, right? Like when somebody says something sick, right? Something sick, like we're saying like that shit's like dope. Like it's so good to the point to where it's triggering me on a physical perspective. Like it's making my stomach like feel some type of way, like it's making my body feel some type of way. Like this is bringing me some type of source of positive energy, but it's so sick, right? Like the intention behind redefining that word is what gave it its power. It's not the person who intentionally created the word, right? And I feel like that's a part of taking back our power is, this was created for this purpose, but we've been using it for this, and this is what it's created in our life. And while it is still phrased to be that way, this is now how we phrase it. That's like the evolution of, right? And thriving in certain environments. Like, even when we think about the N word, like, there's one with the hard ER, and then there's one with the AGS. Like we got we took some shit that motherfuckers was using against us to make us feel some type of way, and we took it and used it as a term of endearment. But even in that, people still use that in a way that you can feel the energy on it that will rephrase its meaning to you. It's the intention behind it, and the intention really sets the energy. It sets the vibe. And if you can read energy and vibes and shit, if you can read a room, right, then you'll know what someone is intending with what it is that they are saying, right? And a lot of people that are on the 3D use that to their advantage, to where, oh well, they only said blah blah blah, but to those that are seers, feelers, believers, we know what was intended by what was said. So, you have to find your own path and your own way. Like, you can't allow these changes to put you in this position to where you feel like there's so much pressure in order for you to just express yourself the way that you wish to express yourself. And I'm not telling anybody to not make changes. But when you are making changes, be intentional with where you're making those changes and how you want those changes to affect your life. Like, I'm a Virgo. Like, if I feel like something, if I feel like a plan is not going to get me from point A to point B, and the goal right now is to get to point A to point B, then I'm not going to follow through with that plan, right? And this is where they say, like, oh, it's not about the destination, it's about the experience. And when you're on a journey, a path towards learning and shit, like, you got to experience some things, right? So while I'm on that journey to point A to point B, I know where to go and how it's going to get me to where it is that I need to go. But I also have to be mindful and open to maybe possibly not doing it my way and doing it another person's way to gain more of knowledge, which is building a perspective, which the experience is making me wise, which later down the road, once I get to the destination, I can figure out how to take my approach and the approach that it is that I had to take to add some type of positive benefit and to where it is that I was intending to get to in the first place, now that I'm finally there and can invest that time and energy into that, right? So it's just like so many polarities of life, and there really is no right or wrong, because the things that are wrong, they exist for a reason. Like, the negatives exist for a reason, the positives positives exist for a reason. It's all about your mind and how your mind can formulate a deeper understanding of what it is that you're experiencing so that it influences your emotional response to it. Um, yeah, but that was the message that I woke up with on my brain. And as I'm like pulling cards, or I just split my deck, the Page of Swords with the Nine of Swords, with the Seven of Wands, with the Ace of Swords, right? So it's like you may feel like you're approaching something in an immature way, right? Like this Page of Swords may feel like it's insignificant because the world wants it to feel insignificant because of how young it is, right? So this Page of Swords finds that it has to be accurately correct and able to physically prove what these thoughts, these downloads, right? Because also as I'm looking at the Page of Swords, I'm understanding that the younger you are, the closer to God you are. So when you're receiving this Ace of Swords, this Page of Swords that you have is you really building up the courage to articulate what the divine is communicating to you without the pressure of feeling as though you need to prove yourself because you know what the fuck you're being told. Right? It's for like it reminds me of those people who there's some shit like for me for example, like there is certain knowledge and understandings of things that I have in my mind that I never studied or looked in a book for. It's just within me. And I'm comfortable with knowing, right? I'm comfortable with that. I'm not looking to validate that with the text or something exterior to me because the divine is giving it to me and that validates me enough. And anybody who doesn't see that, I understand that that Nine of Swords energy, that conflict, isn't for me. It may be for a mature person that has been conditioned by the world now that you need a fact, right? You need a fact check. You need a back, you feel me? So, yeah, especially for any of like the younger people that watch me, like this Seven of Wands to me is you defending your own intellect, your own intellectual properties, because you were divinely tapped in with source and you were not going to allow anybody's lack of understanding of how God is working through you to deter you away from how it is that you are choosing to work, regardless to if people feel like you're getting the results that you should be getting. Like it's not up for nobody to determine your journey, your walk, your success. It's not up for nobody to determine. If your spirit guides, your ancestors, the divine shit, sometimes even fucking certain demons and devils or shit from the underground, right? If they are conspiring with you to create whatever it is that you are creating in whatever way it is that they're leading you to create that, and you have their backing and their support, you cannot allow the 3D realm to deter you away from whatever that is in whatever shape or form that is. And I feel like this message is speaking to anybody in any circumstance on in any way, shape, or form. Even for the little karmishas. Like, if you really truly feel like your destiny in this lifetime is to be a little karmisha, then by all means, go ahead and be that, right? Maybe you need to start over. Maybe you know that the pain that you've endured from this lifetime, you don't have the courage to face. And you really need to be completely plucked from everything in order for you to be able to make it back, right? It's okay. Sometimes we start a game and, we fucked up and fuck it, like I'm just going to start over. It's perfectly fine. Wherever it is that you are on whatever fucking spectrum you're on it in, it is fine and it is meant to be that way. And you should not fucking allow anybody to make you feel like it is not what the fuck it is, because it wouldn't be that way if it wasn't meant to be that way. Yeah, and that's pretty much the message that I got for you guys. And I will be back later. Bye.